Good morning. It's Saturday morning, and this is 1 hour of mixed ability Pilates class, sort of beginner to intermediate level, really. We leave the advanced stuff for when we're face to face. And so, yeah, joining me, thank you for joining me in this Pilates session of lockdown Pilates. So, very quickly. Please don't exercise if you are unwell in any way, or if you, when you're doing it, you feel sick or dizzy or unwell in any way. Please stop what you're doing, listen to your body. You might not be able to do what you did last week today because you're feeling tireder, or you might find you've got more energy. So again, just listen to your body, work at the level that works for you. Now, if you've not done Pilates before, ever, please take a look at my beginners set. I've done a set of 4 videos. You need to, I would say it's essential that you look at those, you follow those. You're going to get a really good understanding of the principles, and then we can progress to actually doing the exercises so you don't harm yourself. The other thing is, this exercise is probably not for you if you've got osteoporosis or any sort of issues where you can get fractures in the spine, brittle bones or such like. So, and if there is any doubt as to whether you should be doing this exercise or not, please make sure that you have the okay from your doctor. I'm not there to supervise, so we need to take personal responsibility. That's about it. So enough for the waffle. Let's get started. So what have we got today? We will be using hand weights, if you so desire, cans of food from the cupboard, a little small hand towel that we can use in various ways to help modify the exercise, your mat, and some space. And I might incorporate the band. We'll see how it goes. It's part planned, part on the fly. There you go. Why not? So let's start. So we're going to start with our feet together. I'm just going to angle this a little bit further down so that, oh God. Well, we'll just go with this, shall we? There you go. You pretty much got all of me in there. So feet together. Zip those inner thighs up. Pull in through the lifting the pelvic floor and pulling in through the tummy. And we're just going to stand nice and tall. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to open up through those toes. So we've got our toes open like a ballerina. Then we open up the heels. And we find that those feet should be parallel, hip distance apart. So we're gently going to roll onto the balls of the feet. So this is I always do this at the beginning of classes, just so that we can focus a little bit more on the body. Try to get that connection between your mind and your body, focusing on the very simple movements, very simple challenges to stability. One of the things about Pilates is there's an awful lot going on with most exercises, and I will just throw all this information at you. You've got to think. You can't be thinking about your shopping list or anything like that. So this is a great moment for focusing on yourself. So let's just take the weight over onto one side. There's my cat baby. She likes to sit on me during bridge sometimes. Let's bring the weight evenly now over both feet so that we are pressing down through the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. And you'll feel a little lift through the arches of the feet. Keep those knees soft, and we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So we're tucking the tailbone under, and then we are letting the tailbone go out behind you. So just working with that lower spine and the hips. Movement is not so great. Small movement. Some of you may have very little movement indeed. It's just getting that connection, being able to isolate that area. Stay nice and stable through the upper body. And then we want to find that midpoint. And that should give you a neutral spine. So we've got the natural curves of the spine. So grow nice and tall now out of the crown of the head. Let's tuck that chin. So when I say tuck the chin, I mean just bring it directly back. So not lowering, not lifting. We're just bringing it as if it's on a train track. Just going straight back. You find you get a little stretch at the back of the neck there. Bring those shoulders up towards your ears, press them behind you, and then gently draw your armpits down towards your heels. So we're going to draw that pelvic floor up, and we're going to take a nice big belly breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to pull that belly button in towards the spine, and you can feel this tightening here in the lower belly. That's your core, your powerhouse. It's a deep muscle that comes all the way around you like a corset, and we just engage it. So we're not just tensing, going like that. We are pulling that belly button in towards your spine. So breath in, keep that engagement. So we breathe into the side of the ribs. And exhale. As you exhale, you force the air out and you pull in through the tummy. So practicing our Pilates breathing. The more you do this, the more it will become second nature. At the beginning, you'll find this quite difficult, potentially. So don't worry, just keep practicing. Last breath. Inhale deep into the side of the ribs. In through the nose, exhale. Force the air out, pull the belly in. So we force the air out, pull the belly in. I'm a visual learner, so I find that quite useful. Okay, let's mobilize the body next. So nice and tall. We're going to bring the arms behind you, palms facing away from you. Lengthen those arms. Good pull in through the tummy. Inhale. Keep the shoulders down. Exhale to look over one shoulder and bring the arms back. Inhale back to the center, arms up. Exhale. So be quite strong with these movements, as if you are pressing against resistance. So we're mobilizing the neck and the shoulders, keeping the spine in neutral. Get a little bit of a momentum going here. Bit of a flow. Inhale back to the center. Exhale as you turn your head away from the center. So inhale, arms up. Exhale. Last one or two. And last one. Let's leave those hands down by your side. We're going to just take it for a side flexion of the neck. So breath in. Exhale, ear to shoulder. This is a really good one if you can do it in the mirror, because you might be surprised to see that you might be moving through the shoulders. So try to keep the movement limited to the neck. You can also sort of have a bit of a drawing down with the opposite shoulder just to increase that stretch. So we're either going to shoulder roll or do elbow circles. I think I lost a connection there. Hopefully we're all back. That might be my daughter on the internet. Let's change direction. Last one or two. Lovely. Let's bring those hands down by your side. So we're now going to mobilize through the spine in the rotating. So keep these hips fixed facing the front. Take the breath in. As you exhale, pull in through the tummy. Keep nice and strong through the center. Inhale, exhale, and inhale to return. Exhale. So you can feel those oblique muscles, those muscles at the side of the waist, drawing you round. And the lats up the back here. Last one. And we're going to free that movement up and turn ourselves into a spiral. Gently coming back to our central point where we want to make sure the feet, knees and hips are lined up. And it's a nice pulling through the tummy. I'm just going to come down onto my knees, purely just so that you can see my upper body. And it's a breath in. And we're going to lift one arm up towards the ceiling. And a breath in. And bring the other arm up towards the ceiling. Imagine you've got a great big beach ball overhead. We're going to have a nice pull in through the tummy. Exhale as we lean over. So we're leaning over, but we're also lengthening. So don't reach those shoulders up. Keep the shoulders back and down, but lengthen through the crown of the head. And try not to twist. Make sure that we are sideways on. Lower that outer arm. Just let it flop. Then we turn, give it a little wiggle. Then we're going to turn the palm to face away. And we slowly bring that arm back up. Grab that beach ball. And bring yourself back up. Breath in. Exhale, we're going to go over to the other side. So again, remember, we are lengthening through the crown of the head and the spine, but we are keeping the shoulders down and back. And then we let that arm just relax down to the side. Give it a wiggle. It's like a little bit of spaghetti. Keep those shoulders square. So this one wants to come forward. Let it, make it go back. So you're nicely lined up. Turn the palm to face away from you. Keep pulling in through the tummy so we're nice and strong through the center. And once you've got that beach ball overhead, we're going to come back to that center point, grabbing a couple of imaginary ropes now. And we're going to pull those ropes down, but they're really tough to pull down. So you're going to have to resist, resist, resist. Bring in those elbows in towards your side. Fabulous. So mobilizing through the hip joint next, just to make sure you've got room around you. So we're going to stabilize through our Pilates box, which is that torso, your torso, while we mobilize that hip joint. So don't let the hips wibble and wobble about as we do these circles. And you can do them with a bent leg or a straight leg. Good pull in through the tummy so that we're nice and strong through the center. Let's change the direction. And we're going to do one more. And then we'll leave that foot out behind you. Straighten that leg. Then tip forwards from the hips. Try not to arch through the lower back. So tuck under a little. Squeeze through the bottom. Pull in through the tummy. And we lift and tap that leg behind. Now you might only be able to lift it a smidge. That's fine. Just working, we're engaging the right muscles. So we lift and tap, or we keep that leg hovered and pulse. Keep open through the collarbones. Think about your neck being on top of your spine. So we're not looking forwards, because if you look forwards, you've got a kink in the neck. Sorry, I'm wobbling all over the place. And we're going to bring that knee to the front and rotate the ankle one way and back around the other. And then we're going to gently lower it down. So Pilates is great for dealing with any imbalances in the body, because we treat both sides of the body equally. So let's do the other side. Still breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we can change the direction of those circles again. Little curtsy there for my cat. And last one, we're going to leave that foot out behind. And again, we've got that gentle tip forwards so that we're making a straight diagonal line, keeping the spine in neutral. And lift and tap. And again, if you don't know what I mean by having a neutral spine, please take a look at the beginners' videos, because they go through all of that. And all this spiel that I come out with will actually make sense. So let's lift and tap, or keep the leg hovered and pulse. And then we're going to bring that knee to the front and rotate at the ankle one way. And change direction. And then lower down. Lovely. So We're going to do our balance next. I think we will do an aeroplane balance. So make sure you've got enough room around you. We're going to start by drawing up one knee. So just drawing it up as high as you can. If you can lift it higher than your hips, that means you've got nice strong hip flexors. If you find that you can't, it means you might be a bit weak here. So we might want to focus on strengthening that area. Try to keep the hips level so we're not, sometimes we might find that you drop on one side as well. That's another thing to look out for. Then we can bring the foot onto the shin or the toe onto the floor, and then we open up through the hip. And we'll take a few breaths here. You could squeeze through the butt here, just to draw those hips, that leg out to the side. Still stay nice and tall through the crown of the head, lengthen and pull in through the tummy. It's a breath in. And we bring those arms up towards the ceiling while we're keeping the shoulder blades down away from your ears. And we're going to go into our aeroplane. So the arms are going to come to shoulder height. Then we're going to float that knee in front and then float it out behind. So here is where you might want to stay. Just stay nice and balanced. Or we can start tipping over. So good pull up and pull in. And we start to tip into our aeroplane. So just come down as far as feels comfortable for you. Lengthen those arms, lengthen those legs, soften the supporting leg, and then gently come down onto the floor. We'll do the same on the other side. So nice pull up and pull in as we draw up the other leg. Keep the shoulders down and back. Good pull in through the tummy, nice and tall. Keep that chin parallel to the floor. You might be using, you could use the back of a dining room table, chair, a dining chair, just to hold onto if you need to for balance, or use a wall. Just a gentle touch. We're going to drop the foot onto the shin or the toe onto the floor. Open up through the hip there. And again, just a few breaths here. And it's a breath in. Keep the shoulders down as we lift those arms overhead. So we're working on scapular stability. And we will come into our aeroplane. So we start with the arms. And then we're going to float the knee forwards. Make sure those arms are nice and long and strong. Lengthen out that leg behind you. So here is first option. And then second option is just to start tipping forwards under control. Just as far as you are comfortable. Lengthen those limbs, nice and strong in the center. Still breathing, I hope. Don't hold your breath. And then we're going to finish. Ready to come down to the mats now and do our roll down. So make sure you've got your equipment to hand. So when we're down on the mat, we don't want to be having to get up and finding bits and pieces. So we'll start feet, knees and hips lined up. Nice pull in, pull up and pull in through the center, shoulders back and down. Breath in as you exhale. Just going to tuck my top in. As you exhale, we're going to round down through the vertebrae one at a time. Try to mobilize each vertebrae one by one. Nice and slow. Walk your hands down your legs if you need to. Otherwise, your arms are going to be heavy. Try not to poke your bottom out. So rolling down forwards. And then we come down as far as feels comfortable for you. Nice stretch up the back of the legs. Ready to start restacking. Coming back up to standing, building the vertebrae back up one at a time. Lengthen through the spine, draw the shoulders back and down, ready to go again.
So breathing, we just maintain nice, deep, even breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, many people I find in classes, they're maybe a bit shy. They don't really force that breath out with any sort of particular noise. You can't really tell, but it's actually quite satisfying to take those breaths in and exhale. So focus on the breath. No one can hear you breathing out. So try to get a bit of a noise going. Last roll down now. And once we're at the bottom of this last roll down, we're going to stay here for a moment. And I want you to let those hands really fall down to the floor. You might need to hold on to your elbows because I want those arms to relax, the shoulders to relax, and let gravity help you as you swish and sway your arms about. So just the arms, not the upper body. We want to get some movement through the shoulder socket. And you can shake the head as if you're saying yes. Nod the head as if you're saying no. So just lovely, lovely bit of space through the vertebrae in the shoulder joint. And then we're going to come forwards into a seated position. And we will do some work to strengthen the abdominals. So we've got options here. We can have, now if you are struggling with your hamstrings, maybe you've got tight hamstrings, I've got like a foam roller here, but you could have a cushion or something and just support the weight of your legs. If you can't straighten them, have them over a cushion or something. If you can straighten them, have them straight, because we want to have a neutral spine. I'm going to come sideways on here. We want that neutral spine. So like I say, if you're sort of slumping here, you might want to bring those hamstrings out of the equation a bit by lifting up those knees. These are the options. So nice breath in. We're going to have those hands parallel to the floor. Keep the shoulders down and back. Breath in. As you exhale, imagine that you've been punched in the belly and you're pulling your belly button away and you're tucking your bottom under because you're trying to get your middle away from that punch. So basically we're making a C shape with the spine, and then just come down halfway. Keep the shoulders down. Breath in, exhale to come up. And then we're going to come into neutral. And then from here, keep the pelvis neutral, but we're just going to reach forward with the hands, drop the head between the arms. You get a nice stretch through the spine, but we're not folding over. I want you to think about being up and over with the spine. Back to neutral. Let's go back. And it's a breath in, halfway. Exhale, drawing yourself back up to neutral. And we're going to go into our spine stretch. Back to neutral. So we're going to add in some rotation. So halfway down, breath in. Exhale, pull the arm back as if you are pulling on a bow. And exhale on the other side. Exhale to come back. Nice and tall into our spine stretch. So lots of lovely mobility through that spine. We can make it a little bit faster. Working with the breath, remember we exhale as we come away from that center. And exhale to exert. Last couple. So keep those shoulders down. And I want you to think about when we're doing our curl, our roll back, that the chin is not tucked onto your chest. We've got a little tangerine gap between your chin and chest. Breath in. Exhale, we bring that arm back as if we're putting the string on a bow. We find our neutral and we go into spine stretch. Last one. So as we are putting that bow back, you keep an eye on it so that you get that rotation through the torso. Fantastic. We're going to come down onto the mat now for our 100. So let's just roll back nice and slowly, under control, pull in through the tummy, tuck the bottom under. Imagine you're turning yourself into a big wheel and you are rolling that spine down onto the mat. Your feet are going to be hip distance apart, and as are your knees. Knees are bent. This is our semi-supine position, and many exercises start from this position. So we want to have a neutral spine. So a neutral spine is one that still has that little curve through the lower back, just enough for a flat hand to get in there. Too much, your ribs are flaring and you've got too much of a gap here. That's no good. And equally, a flat back on the mat is equally no good. So just aiming. We're all built slightly differently. So work out what's your neutral. Let's draw those hands down by your side. So with the 100, there's different elements. So the first element is the arms. So we do arm beats, and those arm beats happen from the shoulder. The movement comes in the shoulder. So long, strong arms, no floppy elbows or wrists, please. Just think about reaching down towards your heels, and that will keep the shoulders away from your ears. We can have the, what have I done with it? If you find you're lying in this semi-supine position and it's really hard to actually get your chin tucked because it floats up to the ceiling, if you've got a slightly kyphotic posture, this could be happening to you. Well, we can do something about that to make it a little bit more comfortable. If you get your towel, I'm making a right dog's dinner with this. You get your little towel and you fold it to however thick it feels comfortable. Place it behind the back of the head. That will help you be able to relax into that semi-supine position. Might open up those shoulders a bit for you. So have a little play around with that. So your good indicator is whether your chin is coming up to the ceiling or not. So we've got those arm beats, as I said. Then we've got a nice pull up and pull in. So we're really strong through the center to stabilize the pelvis and the torso as we do our arm beats. We do 5 beats while you breathe in through the nose. Turn the palms to face the ceiling. Do 5 beats while you breathe out through the mouth. Options for the legs while we're doing this is, first option, one leg in tabletop. Halfway through, you will swap to the other leg. Option 2 is to have both legs in tabletop for the whole duration. Option 2.5 is one leg extended, one in tabletop. Halfway through, you change. Option 3 is both legs extended. Make sure they're nice and long. You can turn the feet out a little bit and really zip those inner thighs together. And if you are a Pilates, if you've done Pilates for a while, you might be quite happy to have your head and shoulders lifted, in which case think about the forehead, try to get the forehead forward. So anyway, there you go. Let's get on with it. So choose the level that works for you. You can change it halfway through if you feel you want to start off with a difficult one, but you can't maintain it. So let's breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, folding those knees in, and let your knees roll from side to side, and roll your head in the opposite direction just to release through the neck. Well done. How did you do? Have you seen an improvement yet in your 100? I always think this is one of the best exercises for seeing your progression. So let me know how you got on. Are you progressing? That would be good to hear. So we're going to go into now some bridging, just to give the abdominals a little bit of a break. So let's grab those hand weights and just keep them close by for the second bridge that we're going to do. Just make sure you've got room at the bottom of the legs. So, and take that towel away from underneath your head when we're doing the bridge. You can put it back once we've finished with our bridging. Feet a little bit closer to your bottom. Let's just take a little bit of a relaxation moment. Draw those hands down towards your heels. Just shuffle around through the shoulders to spread the shoulders wide. Tuck the chin, and we're going to take a few breaths here, soften through the ribs. A few breaths so that you can exhale and relax into the mat. I want you to feel like you are melting into the mat. So we don't want to hold any tension through the shoulders. Last couple of breaths. And we're going to get ready to go up into our shoulder bridge. So tuck the bottom under as you start lifting your tailbone towards the ceiling. Press through your heels. Keep that lower back relaxed as you press through your heels to get the lift. So you are peeling your spine one vertebrae at a time away from the mat. Coming up into your shoulder bridge. Think about lining up the front of your ribs with the front of your hips. And we're still nice and strong through the center. So we've got option one is just to do some heel lifts. So we lift one heel at a time, single heel lifts, toe stays on the floor, and we can place fingertips onto our hip bones just to feel whether we are dropping through the spine as we lift a heel. So try not to lose your nice, strong, straight shoulder bridge. Alternate heel lifts. And we can change that if you want, make it a little bit harder. And when you lift one heel, you'll lift the other toe and then swap. So these are kind of marching feet. And again, can you stay nice and strong through your shoulder bridge as you do that so we're not sagging in the middle? Then we're going to move into some single leg work. So it's a breath in. As you exhale, bring one leg up to tabletop. And then we're going to just straighten that leg out diagonally away. Bring it back into tabletop and lower. Same on the other side. Tabletop. Straighten it out. You can go up to the ceiling if you like. I'm focusing on lengthening that leg away diagonally. Make sure you're nicely fired up through the core to protect that lower back and still pressing down with the heels of the supporting leg to keep the glutes fired up. So really feel they want to be fired up, not your back. So squeeze through the bottom. It does make a difference when you can target the correct muscles. So good squeeze, good press down through the heels. Let's do one more on each side. And again, take a break when if you need to. Just working at your level. Last one now. And then we can return down nice and slowly, down onto the mat. Have a little hug of those knees just before we get ready for our second shoulder bridge. So we'll use our arm weights. You might need to shuffle down your mat depending on how much room you've got. Just make sure that we've got that room around us. So hand weights down by your side, feet closer to the bottom again. Have them, you can, now here's another challenge. You could, so normally I cue you to have your feet parallel, hip distance apart. Why don't we bring those feet and knees together now? That'll be a harder shoulder bridge. It's an option. So peeling the spine away from the mat. You're going to find it far less stable if you've got your feet and knees together. And a little bit harder to come up into that shoulder bridge, a little bit harder to stay there. So draw those shoulders back away from your ears as you bring your arms up towards the ceiling with your hand weights or without. And let's start with some protraction and retraction. So protraction is reaching those arms up towards the ceiling so that the back of your shoulders come away from the mat. And then we press the back of the shoulders into the mat very softly, so we're not just kind of shoving them in. Smoothly and fluidly, lifting and lowering that shoulder, the shoulders into the mat and lifting them up away from the mat. So keep squeezing those thighs together. If you're doing the harder version for the feet, keep pressing down for your heels, squeezing through the bottom. Last one or two. And we'll do some marching arms next. So keep the shoulders pressed into the mat, shoulders away from your ears. Let's do some marching arms. You've got to stay nice and strong in the center to stop yourself from wobbling around. And we're still breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Last couple of marching arms, and we're just going to finish up with some arm circles. So both arms up towards the ceiling, and then they're going to go overhead, swoop down and round, come back up. Try to keep those arms balanced. So one will probably be stronger than the other, but we're going to work on keeping them nice and even. Let's change the direction of those circles. Keep pressing down through the heels. Don't go weak in your bridge. Last one. Let's leave those arms overhead. Keep shoulders down and back, and then we return the vertebrae one at a time. Coming down onto the mat. The arms are going to come floating over. Now, as you return the spine, one watch point would be your rib cage. So we're trying to find that neutral spine as we lower. Okay, we've got some single leg stretch and some crisscross next. So coming to our semi-supine neutral spine position. And again, if you found that having that towel under your head is beneficial, helps you keep that alignment, then place that towel back there now. Hands rested down by your side. We're going to do a few versions of this exercise, building it up. So again, work when you find a level that is enough of a challenge, but you can do it well, that's your level. Better to do good ones at a lower level than bad ones at a higher level. Breath in. As you exhale, pull up and pull in, and bring one leg up into tabletop. So we're going to take a breath in. Exhale, fire up the core, bring the other leg up into tabletop. We should still have that little neutral spine arch underneath the lower back. Not too much, keep it neutral. So, level one, we lengthen one leg out as we exhale and draw the other knee in. Inhale, exhale, swapping over. Inhale, exhale. Don't go too high or too low with that leg that's stretching out. And it is a lengthening of that leg. Now keep the pelvis absolutely stable and the shoulders. So think about your Pilates box. That wants to stay nice, stable. So just go as fast as you're able to maintain that stability. We've got the option to lift the head and shoulders up, in which case your hands are going to change position. Outer hand to the ankle, inner hand to the knee. Outer hand to the ankle, inner hand to the knee. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then we can make it a little bit more dynamic. So we do a little pulse. So we're getting that stretch through the glute and stretching through the leg as you lengthen it away. Take a break when you need to. Last few. Watch the alignment of your legs. Last couple. And let's release back down. That got the blood flowing a little bit, didn't it? So, as you circles with those knees. Now we're going to do a very similar movement with the legs. And we're going to add some rotation through the upper body for Criss Cross. So this is going to work those oblique muscles. Now, a lower level, we'll start with a lower level, and then we can move on to that higher level. So hands are going to hold your head, the back of your head, interlace the fingers. Now this is just a gentle support, so make sure you don't pull on your hands. And we want to keep the elbows wide. So first option is neutral spine, good pull up and pull in. And it's a breath in as we bring the knee, one knee, and the opposite elbow, not elbow, armpit, up to meet it. And lower. Exhale. So we're getting a nice lift and rotation through the upper body. Drawing in. Keep the hips nice and level. So we can increase this difficulty by bringing both legs up into tabletop. Same thing. So while one leg comes in, the other one's going to stretch away. And you can stay lifted now. Armpit to knee. It's not elbow to knee. Armpit to knee. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2 or 3. Oh, hug those knees in. Well done. Let's do a nice full body stretch. Arms and legs are just going to nicely lengthen away. Take a few breaths before we move on to our side lying. Perfect. Bring those arms down. So we're going to move into our side lying exercise. I've got some side lying single leg kick. So we use the back edge of the mat to help us line ourselves up with our hips stacked on top of each other and our shoulders stacked on top of each other. That lower arm
is going to come right out underneath you, or if you've got issues with your shoulder, you can bring the arm forward, bend the elbow so that it's you can rest your head there. Use the towel just to help with the alignment of your neck. And a little gap under the lower waist. So we are pulling in and pulling up, keeping nice and active through the waist now. We're not just collapsing onto the mat. So stay active there. Feet come forward onto the front edge of the mat, and we're going to bend that lower leg. So when we're here, we're just going to lift that top leg to hip height and flex the foot. Keep it hip height, so don't go too high. Just be aware of it being too high or too low. Nice pull in through the tummy as you kick that leg forwards. Then you point and swoop the leg back. Now, watch points. Here at the waist, we want to keep nice and long, so we're not tucking the bottom under, squidging up through the waist. We're keeping nice and neutral through the spine. Point. As we swoop that leg behind, we don't want to arch the lower back, but we do want to use the glutes to draw that leg back. So as long as we don't lose our neutral spine, just go as far as you're able to. Now, some with very tight hamstrings may only be able to come this far with that leg. We don't want to be cheating by bringing the bottom under and scrunching through the upper body. So be aware of that. Long through the waist. Don't overarch when we bring the leg back. So you should be feeling a stretch up the back of your leg when we kick forwards. And then squeezing through the bottom as we bring that leg back. Last couple. Whoop, losing my balance there. Lovely. Now we're going to straighten out both legs. And we're going to lift that top leg to hip height, but point the toe down. So make sure that movement comes from your hip. So we're going to, without moving your pelvis, turn the leg bone, the thigh bone, so that you get that rotation. Now, good squeeze through bottom. I'm just going to lift and lower, leading with the heel. Squeeze and lift. Squeeze and lift. We're targeting your gluteus medius here, which is really important for our walking gait. Can often be weak, underutilized. So this strengthening it up will help with your walking, correct walking. Is it starting to hurt a little bit now? Bernie. Let's just finish with 10 pulses. So lifting that leg up, and then we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, lovely. Bring those knees in. A little release. Give yourself a little bit of a rub and a pat. We can swap to the other end of the mat onto the other side. So we do our single leg kicks first, side kick. Straight line through the body. Again, you've got the option to have your elbow bent here. If not, keep it nice and long. Little gap under the lower waist as we stay engaged through the core. Feet come to the front edge of the mat, bend that lower leg. Top leg comes to hip height. And again, just be aware, sometimes we get a bit floppy through the ankle, a bit lazy. Keep that nice alignment. So flexing the foot as we kick forward. So flexing means that you are bringing your toe towards your shin. Pointing is self-explanatory as we swoop the leg back. So flex forwards, point and swoop. Keep that waist long. Don't shorten here. Don't let the hips cheat for you.
So nice length through the waist. Draw that leg back. Kick, kick, point and swoop. And kick, kick, point and swoop. Keep that waist long at the side. You will feel a lovely stretch. Last 2 or 3. Perfect. We're going to straighten up both legs now. And again, we are going to lift that top leg to hip height, and we've got that rotation. So we're turning that internal rotation of that thigh bone. So turn the toes down, lead with the heel, lifting and lowering. Squeeze through the bottom. You can bend that lower leg if you want. Just gives you a bit more support, a bit more stability. Doesn't matter because we're not working that leg. So lift and lower. Squeeze through the bottom. Let's do last one. And we've got 10 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, it's very targeted, that exercise, which is probably why we don't need to do very many. So rolling on to our fronts now, I think we're going to do some swimming just to finish up, which is going to strengthen the whole of the back of the body. So we'll use our towel underneath your forehead. Arms are going to stretch overhead, palms facing down, arms are parallel, and then we make sure that we draw those shoulders back away from your ears, and feet are hip distance apart. And again, we want to just take this curve out. Sometimes if we're just lying on the mat, you might sag in the middle. So just sort of engage with the abdominals, flatten this curve a little bit here in the lumbar spine. And then we're ready to go. So it's a breath in, pull up and pull in, so we're nice and strong through the center as you lengthen through the crown of the head. And it is going to be the opposite arm and leg. I'm going to lift and lower. Stay lifted through the upper body. So we're into a little bit of back extension. And we lift and lower opposite arm and leg. Make sure we're not twisting through the hips or the shoulders as we do that lift. So you might find you get very little movement. That's fine. We are working the right muscles. What we don't want is to be lifting through one shoulder so that it's the back that's doing the work. You want to support the back in neutral and mobilize through the limbs. So we're going to do a single, and double. Single, single, double. Single. Stay nice and light on the ones that are staying on the floor. Then we're going to do single, single. I'm going to change it a bit here. Double. And then from here we do a little flutter or scissor. Try and stay stable through the shoulders and torso. Whoa. You might need to take a break after that. Ready to go again. So single, single. Try not to bend at the knee. Double, flutter, scissor. Single, single, double, scissor. We're going to do one more after this. Whew. Single, single, double, and scissor. Oh, lovely. Right. Very gently, we're going to come up onto all fours. So make sure that You gently ease into your angry cat. So just arching the back up towards the ceiling. Press the mat away from you. Let your head hang between your arms. Tuck the bottom under. And we're going to go into our cow. So drop the belly, lift the tail, keep the head, keep looking down at the mat though, so that you draw your shoulders away from your ears and you feel nice and long in the neck. Let's go back into our angry cat. And back into cow. And now we're going to find a neutral spine. And we will walk the hands around to one side. So nice little side bend, stretch up the side of the body. Oh, a couple of breaths here. And then we can start walking those hands all the way around to the other side. Back to the middle. And we do thread the needle. So draw that arm across the body, lower through the shoulders, shoulder, bend the elbow, reach through. And we're going to come back to the middle. We'll do the same on the other side. Back to the center. We're going to open up those knees, keep the toes together, walk those hands away and sink back onto your heels. So we get a lovely stretch up the spine. Coming back to all fours, we're going to do one last roll up to standing. So we pop those toes under, we walk the hands back, straighten up those legs, start to restack, building the vertebrae up one by one. Shoulders back and down. It's a nice big breath in. Reach those arms up towards the ceiling. Press those hips forward. And well done. Give yourselves a clap. That is your Saturday morning Pilates done. You can enjoy the rest of your day knowing that you've done that little hour for yourself. I hope you have a good day, and back to it on Monday. So yes, leave me your comments. Please share my videos or information about me if you like doing these Pilates things, and maybe some of your friends will like it. And yeah, let's just share it about, and the more the merrier. Okay, have a great day. Bye.